Good day, Everpony, with this short and probably shitty tutorial. I'm going to show you how to make the samples for a Jinriki utau. Today I'm going to show you how to 1. Find goodish bass samples. 2. How to make them longer. 3. How to use those bass samples to make other samples. I won't be showing you how to isolate the vocals or O2ing though. You will unfortunately have to figure that out yourself. Anyways, in this tutorial y'all get to watch me remake my Ash Ketchum utau. Super exciting, I know. For making samples, you're going to need the programs. 1. Audacity. 2. Vocal Shifter. Let's get into it. Okay, so first off, we need to find good samples we can make longer. The bass samples we need are E, U, A, O, N. It doesn't matter how long or short the samples are. The most important thing is that they are consistent and also don't have weird audio issues. I found a good one there. I'm going to save it to a folder called Not Long. I'm calling it a. I'm going to do the same with all the other bass samples. Found another good one. This one is you. I thought this one was okay, but I later changed it LOL. Found N. This one is always hard for me to find. E. Yay, I found A. I am for now done with Audacity. Now I need to use Vocal Shifter to make the bass samples longer. Press on your sample so we can edit it. We need to go on time to edit the length. You make the red lines by pressing Ctrl-T. The red lines make sure the start and end don't get stretched. I usually make my samples to seconds longish. Made it longer. Now I'm going to save this to a folder called Long. Name the sampler. I know I didn't do it here, but please save your sample as Monroe. It has been stretched. See, I save it as Monroe here. It has been stretched. And has been stretched. That sounded bad. Delete. Anyway, I'm going to go back to Audacity to find a better O sample. Found it. Back to Vocal Shifter. O has been stretched. U has been stretched. Now we need to go back to Audacity so we can edit the stretch samples. Turn it into mono just as God intended. Gonna cut off the start and end. Put some fade in and fade out on it. Just realized I forgot to put fade out at the end, less I. I'm gonna save over the old files. You can make a new folder if you want to. I'm just a lazy butt. Just gonna do the same like I did with our sample. Look, I remembered the fade out at the end. Oh, I put studio fade out on this one. Slightly change the pitch on this one. Here we finished the bass samples. Now I'm quickly going to throw them into utau so I can test them. Celluloid 2. Gonna quickly auto the samples. Please ignore how bad my autoing is. By the way, I recommend using more sampler as the resampler for Jinriki utaus. We finished the bass samples. Now we're gonna use those bass samples to make even more bass samples. Now we're gonna make the Y samples like yo. Gonna go back to Audacity and try to find a usable Y sound. Found it. Now we're gonna go to another Audacity window so we can start Frankensteining samples together. Please remember to make the samples mono. Now we're gonna use crossfade clips. What the flip? Gotta throw some fade ins and outs so it's quieter. Crossfade clips. Yay, fade in. Gonna save these in a long folder. Gonna name the file ya. I forgot to do it here, but please set export range to current selection. Put on the empty track so I can delete it. Pro tip, cut off the end when saving your sample. It makes utauing easier. Remember, set export range to current selection. To be honest, these samples are kinda useless, but they're nice to have if you want your Jinriki to have an easier time saying non-Japanese words. This sounds more like whoa than yo. That's a future problem for future Malin. I'm starting to get a little lazy. I finished all the Y samples. Because I forgot to set the export range to current selection for most of the Y samples, I have to go back and fix those. Done with that. Now I'm going to quickly throw the new Y samples into utau so I can test them. Please keep in mind that Y samples are always kind of weird. I still haven't fully figured out how to make them sound less weird. We finished the Y samples. I know the yo sounds like whoa, but I'll fix that later. Now I'm going to show you how to make regular samples with our bass samples. Like kaki kakeka or naya naya nu nai nayo. We're going to use pretty much the same technique that I use for the Y samples, just with a lot less editing, I hope. I would also recommend using a CV reclist as a reference so you know what samples you need to make. I'm not going to do that though because I'm lazy. Anyway, we need to go back to my beloved Audacity. We're going to try to find a good K sound. Found something usable. Then we need to go to another Audacity window so we again can start Frankensteining stuff together. Turn that shit mono. We're gonna throw our sample in there. Then we need to use crossfade clips. Okay, that could probably sound a little better. Just gonna edit the K sound a little. Crossfade clips. Started editing the sample more. Done with it. I probably can't make it better than this. Gonna save this new sample in the edited folder. Named it Ka because that's what he's saying. Then undo until the K and our sample are separate. Gonna throw our sample in the track below so I can delete it. Now we're just gonna continue doing the same thing until we're done with all the K samples. Now K is done. Now Key is done. Now Ko is done. Now Ku is done. Now we're gonna start making the KY samples. Yes, I know that barely sounds like Kia. I haven't mastered the Y samples yet. Anyway, now Kia is done. Now K is done. Now Key is done. Now Kyo is done. Now Q is done. We finished all the K samples. Now I'm gonna quickly throw them into utau so I can test them. now know how to make a Jinriki utau. I hope this quick tutorial slash walkthrough slash whatever helped you. I'm sorry if I made any grammar slash spelling mistakes. English is my second language, and I really struggle with grammar. By the way, I hope y'all like the pink munch slacks in the corner. It's my Pakisona. I think I'm gonna name it Malon's Lax. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good day. Goodbye.